episode 437 of the Too Thick Pod, your home for all things sports, cards, and levity. I am Jeremy, joined as always by mine and Courtney's son, the one, the only, Skip Bayless Jr., Manny being Manny 6.9. Right. Manny, good afternoon.
Do not call me Skip Bayless. My takes have been kind of A+. It's just, they're not to par of a lot of the majority of people. But they've been right, I think.
You think?
What was your take on the Cowboys?
We're gonna get right into it.
Hold on. Let me get this started. This is the bi-weekly hit with our good friends, our sponsors, TNT Sports Cards, the best group subber in the Midwest, in the world, in the hemisphere, in the whole thing. But first and foremost, Skip Bayless Jr., my friend. First off, no. Manny does the whole everybody loves me, I'm the best guy, getting blocked left and right on Twitter for fighting with Lions fans after the Cowboys-Lions game. Followed by his nonstop ranting about how Dak Prescott was going to be the MVP this year, and the Cowboys were going to take it to the house. You'll have your chance to respond. All right? So then it goes south, and then he can't even take the L after he talked all that smack about the Cowboys being America's team, the greatest team of all time, Dak, all this stuff. Just getting absolutely lambasted. Everybody, even his kids, were like, Dad, you're out of line. Then today, I go to pick up some cards, and he's arguing with Michigan fans about how Michigan State is the superior school and how they dominate them in football, they dominate them in gymnastics, they dominate them in basketball. And we had to do a wellness check on the little guy because everything that comes out of his mouth lately, sports related, is awful and bad.
All right.
You got a rebuttal for that?
Tyler, Tommy, this guy is a BSer. You know Jeremy personally.
Yeah.
The guy, I said, okay, so here's my takes, and tell me if I'm wrong, Tyler and Tommy. Is Dak Prescott not top 10 quarterback in the NFL this year? Was he not top 10?
Yeah, absolutely this year.
Until the playoffs started.
Thank you. That was my argument. He's top 10.
When the playoffs started is he a top 10 quarterback in the NFL this year?
We'll give him number 10. We'll give him number 10.
That's exactly what my argument was. So I don't know where Jeremy. Okay, so what happened is Jeremy has the login to Too Thick, everyone. So everyone sees Dak for MVP. This is Dak's year. Cowboys to the Super Bowl. Guess what? That wasn't me. That was Jeremy trying to stir the pot. I would say all I said was Dak was top 10 in the NFL. Jeremy likes to instigate.
You confirm this allegation that you?
Oh yeah, I have a group chat that has 20 other people in it, where people throughout the season tried to tell Manny that Dak is not a clutch quarterback. Manny fought with them. Manny talked smack all year, and the moment things went south for Manny, Manny dipped out, disappeared, and couldn't take it on the chin. Is this true? Yes or no?
Yeah, because you over-exaggerated.
Exactly.
You basically, so Jeremy basically stirred the hornet's nest and then just disappeared and didn't have my back and just laughed in the background.
Sounds like
Nope. I owned it. I even made it public.
It's okay.
I did damage control for this young man. I even said, hey, I'm sorry. Courtney and I need to do a better job with our children. We understand he's misguided. We owned it. But that's enough. Nobody wants to listen to Manny's hot takes. He's a poor man, Skip Bayless.
You are so bad. Jeremy is the worst. Jeremy doubled down after they lost and said, guess what? 2025 Dak MVP, we're coming. Championship. And I was getting heat from that.
Hey, I heard that you're going to be in Kalamazoo this weekend at the show.
Yes.
Buying Dak.
No, you see, he said that too. He said, come up to Manny, or come up, I'm buying all the Dak Prescott. If anybody wants them. I didn't say that. It was Jeremy.
Do you want us to make a sign at our table? We can, help promote it, so that way we have them lined up for you when you get there.
I mean, they're probably a good deal right now. He was pretty embarrassing last game.
Jeremy made me a depressed Cowboys fan on Sunday. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I was fighting with everyone. Everyone was coming at me. I probably had like 100 text messages just because someone just randomly said F you to me in our Too Thick Instagram because of Jeremy. I'm getting hate from this. The Lions fan that blocked me, that was me trolling because we won.
What did you say?
I'll keep that one. I was just putting memes out, wasn't I, or GIFs? It was on Twitter, and all I kept saying was just a GIF, like a joke. The guy was like, he was talking about the last play, right? The report, right? I said, well, it shouldn't have even went to that because there was a tripping call that they didn't call. And then he just basically blocked me. And then I put a GIF of like someone laughing. And then I haven't talked to him since. And it's actually someone that is in Michigan and does cards. So you guys probably ran into him a couple times.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So Manny, just before we move on, how do you explain Michigan State being better than Michigan at football? I mean, recent history would suggest that the University of Michigan is slightly better at football than Michigan State.
Well, my argument is they cheated to win. They literally cheated. Their coach got suspended twice this year for 2 separate allegations. And the NCAA is still coming and still investigating.
Sure. 2
allegations that are down right now. He might not even be the coach anymore.
Right.
What coach?
They are under a microscope with everyone watching anything they could possibly do, and then they still went and kicked everybody's ass.
Don't care. They already had the game plan. You had Connor Stallions.
Well, then change your signs. What's so hard about that? What I don't even get what this problem. Look, I understand the sign stealing. I get that, but
Tommy, the problem is in
change the sign every game. I don't know how much of an advantage that even gives you.
It doesn't matter. It's still against the rules.
Sure.
And
the more you listen, there's a couple things you need to point out with Manny. Zero accountability for everything.
No.
Manny is always the victim in everything, and a lot of finger pointing. When in reality, the only finger pointing should be at the man in the mirror.
Jeremy, Jeremy was waiting for this podcast.
Everybody.
Huh?
Nobody beat Michigan.
I mean,
okay.
They were good. That makes it so much worse because you guys were that good to cheat.
Yeah.
So you shouldn't have cheated in the first place.
Sure.
And I don't like the argument everyone cheats. Well, who got caught?
Yeah.
If we're cheating, we are doing it horribly.
Yeah. Well, guess what?
Mel Tucker got caught.
Who hoisted the trophy at the end of the year?
He got fired, though. He got fired. You guys have 2 coaches that have allegations both on.
They're good coaches.
Huh?
Because they're good coaches.
Hey,
they're looking for a reason to get rid of Mel.
If they're good, they could do whatever.
But I kind of feel bad for Mel. It looks like he got sideswiped. Who knows? Who knows what the truth is there? Haven't really looked that much into it.
I like this comment. Astros 2024. And you guys won it in Houston, so you guys are close. Astros organization in Michigan.
So, gentlemen, thank you for jumping on. Sorry we had to hijack the first 8 minutes of this for Manny to get just a little bit of his comeuppance. We're actually going to be doing a debate live where he's going to go head-to-head versus one Kenny from Second Amendment Breaks, where they're going to battle Big Blue versus Michigan State, and I expect it'll be more of the same, but that's for a different time.
Yeah.
Happy belated Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's. We are excited for an incredible 2024. The one thing that we got the most questions about, Bowman and Prizm. What are you guys seeing as the cards are starting to roll through now that, Panini and, Topps are releasing some products?
As far as card quality?
Everything. We'll start with card quality. What's being graded? What conditions are you seeing? What are some things that people are sending in that they're not recognizing that maybe they shouldn't send in? Let's get into it.
Yeah, Bowman draft's been pretty tough so far. The new product that just released. A lot of issues with back corners, scratches, print lines across the front.
Surfaces that pits in them, which we haven't seen before typically with Bowman.
Yeah, but again, there's you can still gem them, and there's still ways to kind of clean them up and do what you can. And if you want us to take a look and review them, still obviously, we think we're going to recommend that's the best way to go. But newer cards, it seems like they're getting tougher and tougher to find good ones out of the pack. Just because they're open fresh out of a pack means nothing. They go through a manufacturing process. Bowman draft, they're on-card autographs for those first prospects. Those cards are shipped to the player usually, and we're talking tens of thousands of cards sometimes for them to sign, and they just lay them across a table and throw them back in a box, and lay them across the table and throw them back in a box. So again, we definitely get some gems on them. Don't get me wrong, but they're tough.
Bowman draft's always tough. Even last year's was tough. It's like they use It's a different card stock with Bowman Draft. It's a lot thinner.
It's different than other than Bowman Chrome and Bowman.
Prospect.
Yeah.
Those two are, it's a thicker card stock. It seems to hold up a lot better. And it's weird, like the surface scratches haven't been bad, or like the print lines.
The print lines are not bad as normal, but the surface.
In the back corners are just wrecked, it seems like, on a lot of them. If you get a 10 on Bowman Draft, it's going to hold some premium big time.
I like that too. Like, I never thought of it, like, but they are sending these cards to 17, 18-year-old kids, and rather than like professionals.
I mean, like 5,000, 10,000 of them.
Yeah, they don't care. They're just happy they're getting paid, you know?
Yeah. They're going in a box like this.
They go in a box like that, no sleeve.
They pull them out, sign them, and then ship them back.
And they don't have the understanding. A lot of them probably don't have the understanding of like what they're worth or anything, because
I think some of them are getting, you know, obviously you see some of them take it real serious with the different things they do to them, which is really cool. But yeah, a lot of them I'm sure could care less. They just got to get that number, however many number they need to get signed, and ship back.
Did you see have you been sent to Armando Bacot yet? Auto?
Probably.
This year, his is a straight line.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, no, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, he's just a straight line.
That's pretty embarrassing.
Yep.
A little less.
How many Brady's have come through?
We've seen 10? 2 gold Brady autos,
orange,
2 greens. Yeah, a couple of greens. We've seen quite a few, like the base and
a couple of refractors. Yeah, well, I'd say 10 to 15 of them. But none of I don't think we've sent one to PSA yet. They've all been bad.
No, the centering's been really bad on the Brady's.
We got one Beckett.
Corners have been bad. Yeah, we got a 9.5 on an orange auto. That's just the most recent one.
Okay.
Yeah, they're tough. The Brady's have been really tough. And I don't know if you guys want to get into the whole photoshopped picture things. I'm sure that's a big topic of discussion. And you know, to touch on that real quick, I mean, what did you expect they were going to do? He never signed a contract with the Expos. Never played a game for the Expos. They have no pictures of him in an Expo uniform. They've been doing that for years. Every single Justin Herbert Prizm rookie card, or pretty much all of Justin Herbert's cards from his rookie year, COVID, they're all pictures of him in an Oregon uniform, photoshopped into a Chargers uniform. Ken Griffey Jr.'s Upper Deck rookie card is a minor league picture of him, photoshopped with Seattle Mariners stuff on. Who cares? Well,
you also got the Cade Cunningham was in his college, like
they've been doing that forever.
College court. So it's I don't understand.
The card is what it is. They've been doing it for years.
Yeah. People love the downtown and kabooms. Guess what? Those aren't the players posing.
Yeah, exactly. I wish they looked that cartoonish.
Yeah.
So I think you guys had on release day, you had 2 golds, at least in transit to your facility.
Yeah, we had one walk in that morning right after he pulled it, and then the other one overnighted to us.
Do you guys see the direct correlation of the release of a new product with the influx of cards coming in? Because I would imagine that, you know, now that we're finally getting into Prizm and we've got some better products coming out, you would see an increase.
Yeah, it's 100%. Yeah. As soon as Bowman's open, you know, when Bowman Draft comes out, you know, that first 2 weeks we see, you know, I would say half our mail that comes in, you know, 500 to 1,000 cards a day sometimes. It's half Bowman Draft autos and refractors and even just base cards of the main prospects.
Yeah, and we've definitely seen a big uptick with Prizm.
Yeah, that always happens. Anytime a major product comes out, you start, because, you know, those products, people will grade the base cards, even though they don't hold the value like they did 2, 3, 4 years ago, but they're still big names. People are still excited when they hit a CJ Stroud base card, an Anthony Richardson base card, a PSA 10. You know, I don't know what they go for, but, you know, it's, even if they're
Stroud's
$60, $70, people still want to grade them. They still want to, you know, try to get those PSA 10s on them, because that's part of the chase. Yep. You chase the card out of the pack, you get to grade it, you get a 10, you feel good, you sell, you know, and rinse and repeat.
I'm looking right now what his card is based, because I
have seen base goes for about $50. Yeah. So as a 10, with the way he's playing right now, it's probably like $200 to $250.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, with the Prizm, the biggest issue we've seen in Prizm has been the centering.
Centering, big time.
Left to right's been off pretty bad on a lot of them.
Top and bottom's off quite a bit too. But the other than that, if the centering's good.
Surfaces have been clean.
Yeah, they've looked pretty good. Really good. You know, so when you're looking on eBay to see if the surface looks good, You don't see any obvious scratches. Obviously, when you read the descriptions and
The case hits have been pretty good. Color blasts have looked really good.
Yeah.
The Magnas have been. It seems like they're all off center, a little bit left to right, but
they always have that.
But I mean, you still got to try them on any of the big names.
So there was a big complaint on those Prizms, Jeremy. I don't know if you remember. Fanatics signed C.J. Stroud and signed all these big quarterbacks. So
there's no big autos. Just I think Richardson's the biggest auto.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm seeing a lot of people going after Richardson because it's really the only one you could get. Mm-hmm. So have you seen, like, I don't know if you guys are in like break rooms or anything, like less Prizm cards, or is it still as hot as usual?
It's still hot as usual. Because with the way the release schedule works and everything, it's going to be kind of weird with the licensing and everything. So like your Prizm, your Prizm gold vinyls, your Prizm golds, those are going to be bigger cards than what you're going to get out of National Treasures for these guys, or contenders or optic contenders.
I mean, that's what I would think.
I would think
only
long
time
term
will tell, but that would be my guess. Is the extremely low numbered, very popular parallels, gold vinyl, camo for Prizm. I think those are going to hold significantly higher value for guys like Stroud, Will Levis. Who else am I missing? What's the other quarterback?
For this Stroud,
Bryce Young.
Bryce Young.
But he kind of had a stinker. So
yeah, I mean, so have a lot of quarterbacks. Please, the guy's got talent. He's on a crappy team.
Yeah,
he's got no talent around him. Give him some talent. As long as his confidence can stay sharp, I would bet money that if he gets some players around him, and he'll figure it out.
Oh yeah.
What cards have you guys seen come through from the new Prizm release that you've gotten in hand and you actually stop for a minute and like just truly, like, as card guys, appreciate the card? Because you guys look at so many cards, I'm sure you become numb to it.
I didn't even realize it at first, but the portals insert, I don't know if it's even that rare of an insert, but I was looking at them yesterday, cool. And I didn't realize that it's like, there's like a portal through his chest, and the outside, it's top, and then the bottom is all pro uniform, and in the middle it's like their college uniform with college patches, so it's like a portal from them going, college to pro. It was a Jamar Chase blue ice that came in from a customer, and I stopped and I was like, holy shit, I didn't even realize that. I looked at 3 or 4 of them, and I never noticed that it was like their college uniform and pro uniform together. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, I think Prizm did a really good job on the variation this year.
Yeah.
The variation looks really sharp.
Looks like a
lot better than last year's.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's like the one insert I've been seeing, and I think it's Bowman, is those wanted cards that kind of that look like they were on fire.
Yeah,
those are sick. I like those a lot.
Yeah, there was we did a locket of Caleb Williams that we was like, damn, that's sweet.
Yeah, that's cool.
So I think they're called Gunslinger or something.
Yeah, that's sick.
I think do they make those in baseball too?
I think so. I think so.
They called it something different, but I know Bowman Chrome U football had them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think baseball had it too. I don't remember.
So probably the biggest Prizm card we've had come through so far is a Bryce Young gold vinyl.
Ooh,
yeah, that was nice.
We'll pull up the pictures. I'm gonna put the pictures up after the video of like the centering, so that if you're looking at Prizm and you want to send it into TNT, you have an idea of what Tyler and Tommy are doing.
We can get you some Bowman pictures as well.
Okay, about like the surface issues.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that would be good because I think anybody, as they naturally go through the progression of learning cards, centering isn't easy to pick up on. And once you get it, it's like one of those things that becomes incredibly glaring that you notice any centering issue.
And, Prizm centering is easy.
And you start to look at centering on everything in your whole life around you. You look to see if everything is centered.
We should get some for you on Mosaic too, because Mosaic has been the backs of the cards have been just trash.
Like lines, I've seen
indent lines have been really bad.
They're like frayed all over the white.
Yeah, the edges are terrible.
So you say the back. How, like, on a scale of like 1 to 10, how important is the condition of the back? Like, obviously anything glaring is going to be, but are they as critical on the back as they are on the front?
No, I would say it's probably like a 70-30, 70% the front matters, 30% the back.
Yeah.
But
most misses come on the back.
Most misses are going to come on the back. And if there's an issue on the back, you got to look at it like this. So if you have like a white tip corner that you see more visibly from the back, and that might knock it down to a 9. That same white tip corner, if it was on the front and noticeable from the front, might knock it down to an 8.
Yeah.
That white corner, no matter where it is still going to knock the grade down. It's just 9 or 8. And then is there anything else wrong with the card that could possibly take it down even lower? So the front matters more, but the back is still important, because if there's an issue, especially one that disrupts the eye appeal of the card, it's still going to take the grade down, to a 9. And frankly, we all know a 9 doesn't do you a whole lot of favors on a modern card. A 9 and raw are pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, there's not much of a difference. The rarer the card, the better.
It helps
you a little bit
want
more.
To take your chances
on a base card, if you're sending in a base, Prizm Stroud, you're better off. If it doesn't have a legitimate shot of the 10, there's really no reason to take your chance.
But yeah, when there's something, sometimes we'll notice major issues on the back of a car where a customer never even looked at the, they look at the front, they kind of glance at the corners and edges of the back, and then send it in, and then there'll be a crease or a huge indent right in the middle of the back of the card, and most people don't spend more than 5 seconds even looking at it. But you can also get away with more print lines and surface scratches on the back that that are really, really hard to see unless you have it at the right angle. If it's on the back, depending on the size and stuff, but they usually let that stuff go a lot more than they would if it's on the front.
And when you're talking the grade company, are you talking this is like a PSA standard, or is it all three?
Standard with all of them.
Okay.
I mean,
yeah, there's some that are, like SGC is definitely more lenient on the back of the card. You can get away with a lot more.
If you got a white tip corner on the back of a card at SGC, you still have a shot at a 10, depending on how big it is.
With SGC, it helps with their grading scale because they have their gold label 10, which you very rarely see. I think we've gotten like 3 of them. And then you have their regular 10, and then you have their 9.5, and then a 9.
SGC gold labels have got to be extremely undervalued, because I don't think they even get to a PSA 10 value. I don't think they do.
It depends on the card, but it's probably closer than you think.
Because damn, an SGC 10,
it's tough.
The condition of a card that's actually a real SGC gold label has got to be pretty incredible, because we don't see very many of them.
No. Which is good. Do you see a lot in like the TCG world?
We don't send a lot of TCG.
Not a lot of TCG. We have sent some TCG, but we've never had a gold label with it.
No, and it seems like they grade like Pokemon a lot tougher than PSA does, and even Beckett.
Yeah.
Weird. They were doing a big promo for like $10 a card, and we sent a bunch in, and we got a bunch of 8.5s and 9s on cards that I would have thought were 9 or better at PSA all day long.
Yeah.
So I can actually add to the TCG thing. No gold labels, Manny, because they're too busy getting me black labels, my friend.
I wish Tyler could do the same for me. Maybe I'll send mine to Tommy.
Yeah, send them to Tommy.
Well, Jeremy knows how to do it.
Jeremy just buys from the one person that all gets black labels and then just goes like this. He just.
I heard you had first dibs on that.
And Jeremy takes his cards. He gets up and walks past Tyler's desk. Make sure he gets over to my desk.
Tommy is the head grader at TNT. I'll give him that.
Here's the thing: when Tommy and I flew to PSA last year, we had an opportunity to break bread. We skipped out on dinner with Nat Turner to go to Burbank, rode in the worst Uber ride for 2.5 hours, and then just spent 7 hours at Burbank buying everything. And the great thing with this experience was my friend Tommy would look at every card, molest it, pull it out, and be like, well, this is going to be a 10. This is going to be a 10. Don't get this. And he would negotiate on my behalf. So an incredible experience. So there's some bonding that's there. So yeah, now I've got to get him my cards, and he always looks out for me.
Tyler, do you realize that Jeremy always brags to us about this trip?
Yes,
well, I know
he brags to me about it.
Well, you and I are held back.
Yeah, we were held back. He's been bragging about how he's on a boat on the Sunset with Tommy. They never said anything about how Rob was actually robbed that night, and I don't know. Maybe it was Jeremy and Tommy. They were there for 4 hours.
Oh, that's right.
It was like 2 days later, wasn't it?
Oh, see, Tommy knows exactly.
Right after Rob went out of his way to show us how he's going to change things up because everybody else had gotten robbed. Bullpen had just gotten robbed.
And he's broken into the week before, and he's like, "I'm really worried about this. I'm going to step up my game. This is going to change." And then the next day, he gets broken into.
So, we talked about.
Here's a good one. What about this? There was a Lamar Jackson cracked ice that was an 8.5 at Beckett, and now is a black label.
Yeah, that
crazy. I mean, I'd love to see that card and see what may or may not have been done to it to get it to there.
I think the corners were originally. I'd have to take a look. I don't know what the corners
I've seen the
were.
pic. I've seen it on social media. You know, I don't know how. I can tell you, a lot of people see stuff like that and they assume that you can just crack open a Beckett 8.5. You know, wipe the surface because it's got a big fingerprint on it, and then you're going to get a 10. It's not that easy. I can promise you, it's not. Those types of things happen, but more often than not.
I mean, you've also seen the PSA 5s that have gone to Beckett and gotten black labels. Yeah. You had that color, or the Trevor Lawrence Color Blast.
Yeah, but I mean,
it's one of those things that
you don't know if they're actually. I mean, is that actually the same card or not? It's not numbered, so you can't really tell for sure. I mean, I have no reason to assume that guy's lying, but it's also
so. What kind of like realistically, what kind of success rate do you see with people cracking and resubbing or going from company to company to company trying to get like the best grade possible?
It just so totally depends on a case by case basis. And when you look at the card, what's actually wrong with the card? Because I'll get a card that's a PSA 9, and customers say I want to crack it and try it because whatever, it's $1,000 card. As a 10, it's $3,000. I really want to try it, and I'll look at it, and the damn thing will have a corner that's dog-eared, and I'm like, this thing should have got a 7 to begin with. There's no way to fix that. Leave it alone. There's no way you can do anything with that. You also get it sometimes. You look at the card and you go, I can't see anything wrong with it, and you know.
I mean, you guys had that Burrow.
Yeah, I mean, if it looks as good, you just got. It's a case by case basis. It's not really a percentage thing.
It's a little bit of luck.
It's a little bit of luck. I mean, you know, just if there's nothing noticeably major eye appeal wrong with the card, you know, shoot your shot. PSA 9 and reality is not worth any more than if it comes back an 8. It's not you lost the grading fee. You still have the card. It's still worth about the same as it was as the 9 to begin with, right?
If you like to gamble, do it because it doesn't even because I do a lot of the TCG, and Tyler and I were cracking those trophy cards. I think there was like one that we cracked like 4 or 5 times because we're like, there's nothing.
When you saw those, I mean, even the ones that got smoked at Beckett, they did just fine at PSA.
Yeah,
I don't understand.
I mean, we've cracked cards 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times, and you know, get a 10 the 7th time. I mean, it can happen.
Oh yeah.
But, you know, it also, people don't sometimes realize that just because it was a 9 or, you know, because it was a Beckett 9.5 first, and we tried it at PSA, and, you know, you might not ever get that 9.5 back again. You can send that same card back to Beckett. It might get a 9 next time and never get a 9.5 again. You know, it goes the opposite way too. It's not always going to go better. It can get worse sometimes.
Yeah. A lot of it boils down to what do you have into the card. If you're into it good, it's worth the risk. You know, if you're way upside down, you know, sometimes it's worth the risk because getting that 10 might get you back to even.
Yeah, and
you know,
graders miss stuff. They're humans. I mean, I can tell you right now, we've sent in tons of cards where I'm like, I don't know, it's got this indent on the back, but it's hard to see. The order is going to have 300 cards on it. Let's see if we can get the grader who's trying to move really fast through these and see what happens. You know, you got to take your chance on some cards. If it comes back an 8 or a 7, we'll crack it. Oh well, You're out your $19 grading fee. Who cares?
There's also
smoke, throw it in the trash.
Yeah, you know.
There's also that we'll be honest, and there's also a lot of methods that came out after 2020 that you would think that Lamar was graded before the pandemic. After the pandemic, there's a lot of different methods that people do to clean cards. And
exactly. I mean, it depends on what was wrong with it to begin with, right? I mean, who knows?
It could have been that too. I saw on Twitter today, speaking of that, a Satchel page went from it was PSA 2, and it was cracked, and it became a SGC 4. And there's a guy on Twitter that's like logging these cards, the cert numbers, and calling them like altered, like consider this one altered, like
whatever.
I was like, there's a guy doing that. I'm like, how do you even have time to do that? But I did see that today.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It depends what's done to. Obviously, there's a lot of people doing different things to cards to improve it, and I mean, the grading companies kind of take the stance of as long as we can't tell anything was done to the card, it's still in its natural state. You didn't add anything or take anything away from the way it was originally printed. I don't think they really care.
SGC came out and pretty much said that.
Yeah,
nobody else has, but nobody else.
No one's going to give you the go ahead and say, we don't care if you wax your cards. It's fine with us. We'll still grade them. You know, they're all going to take if we can't tell what was done to them, then what are we supposed to do? That's kind of the approach they all take.
Yep.
And there's a lot of
they just want to get paid, man. They want to get paid, and it doesn't behoove them to come out and say do whatever. So they're just gonna be vague.
In my opinion, if you're not, you're not doing anything to chemically alter the card or anything, I don't really think that's a problem. I've seen Card Care get creases out of cards with just soaking them in water in a spray. I mean, that's crazy.
So I actually, on a side note, Courtney and I went to dinner a couple weeks ago with Trees Collectibles, Mark, and Kurt from Kurt's Card Care and his wife, and we ended up over at Kurt's house for a nightcap. Completely nothing related to Kurt. It was our cards. It was just adults having a couple of drinks, having a good time, and he was given a tour of his house. And he's got a room where he's got a ton of guitars, and he showed us one card, and I haven't followed up to see what it was, but he was working on a 33 Gaudi, a Ruth, and he showed the picture from when he first got the card to where it was at now, and it was just it was just resting in a humidor at the time when we were there, and I was like, damn, it's pretty wild. And he'll be the first to admit that he's just like a dork. He's just like a nerd. He likes experimenting and seeing what can happen.
And I personally don't feel like he's doing anything wrong to the card. It's just put in a humidor. It's just moisture.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, moisture can destroy a card by being left in a basement. So why can't it help to fix a card if you can use it the right way without, getting crazy?
For sure.
In my opinion.
So one question that we got a lot in the DMs was people wanted to know from all the companies turnaround times, what to expect. Is it still a backlog? Are they still months without their cards? So why don't we start, and let's just start with SGC, then we'll go BGS, and we'll finish up with PSA. SGC, for a while, it seemed like you were getting your cards back door to door, including, sending them to you. I was getting my cards back from SGC in 2 weeks. Are they still pretty damn quick?
Slowed down a little bit. I mean, people got to understand you had Christmas on a Monday, you had New Year's on a Monday. So that did slow them down a little bit, but it seems like they're kind of getting that back in line. So I would say that's still, we shipped SGC once a week, so depending on when we get your cards, do your review, typically we ship, Tuesday or Wednesday to SGC. So, about a 2 week window, maybe 3 weeks, worst case scenario, but I think it's getting reeled back in closer to 2 weeks. Beckett, priority's been a week to 2 weeks. Standards probably 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah, I think it's been a little closer to 6 weeks lately.
Yeah, and some of it's just the holidays. And then their bases seems like it's gotten a little bit better. I think it's probably closer to 4 months. It was 6 months there for a while. So it's gotten better. PSA's pretty accurate. We have had a little bit of an issue for some reason to where we've had some bulk orders come back in 30 days. Some bulk orders take 3 to 4 months. There's no rhyme or reason to it.
And some take 2. We got a couple in 2 weeks.
Yeah, and then we've had value. We've had value plus orders that are supposed to come back in 3 weeks ish, and that have been 4 to 5 weeks, maybe even 6 weeks. So, it's a little bit more sporadic with PSA as far as the turnaround times, where I think the others are pretty accurate.
I just think PSA has so many more cards coming through their door.
And I think they made a big push at the end of the year, to where they were trying to push some numbers at the end of the year. So I think some bigger orders got
that were sitting closer to the right at the
yeah
front
they
grab and go.
They got moved through the system maybe a little bit quicker because of that, but I think PSA's turnaround times are going to improve quite a bit because overall, just in general, I don't think you'll see anything take more than 45 days here within the next probably 3 to 4 months, because they're going to be opening up the New Jersey office, I believe, to where you can send everything there. So that'll be nice, because for us, for shipping, that'll be nice. We won't have to ship to California anymore.
Because the one thing with PSA is they're bulk dual. They're the cheapest level to do the card grade and autograph grade.
Yeah, that gets bogged down.
It takes five months ish, and it's just man, they could dial that in to force to 2 months.
That might not ever change though, because that still has to go through the PSA DNA process. So it still has to go through that before it goes to card grading. So a lot of that'll depend. I think the turnaround with that's going to depend on how many cards are they just getting in through the typical PSA authentication.
Having that autograph grade of a 10 though adds such nice value on a lot of those cards.
We kind of slowed down doing that a little bit just because
takes
of the
too long.
turnaround time.
Customers don't want to wait that amount of time, and I don't get it. Like, how does Beckett have the card graders grade the autograph, but PSA won't do that? They have to get authenticated first, even though it's a packed out autograph that's already authenticated on the back of the card. It's already got a COA. You can't train the same guy to grade the card to just look at the autograph and tell me if it's a 10. Is all the ink there? Is it all in sync?
Yeah.
Come on.
If they can grade a card, they can grade an auto. It's a lot easier, right?
Why does it take so long? That's ridiculous.
So here we have a question. Why would you even consider PSA on higher value cards when they charge you so much more than SGC? And then there was one before that said SGC option C. Before we get into that question, I would like to say, like, I think the slab overall is the best at SGC. And we kind of talked about this. PSA kind of reminds me of McDonald's, like a McDonald's slab, but it holds the highest value. So that's why people send it. I bet if PSA, BGS, and SGC all had the same resale value, people would not use PSA. And that's my 2 cents. There goes another hot take. Maybe I'll get blasted again. So I don't know if you want to answer this question right here. You guys would know.
No, why PSA over SGC? I mean, the PSA 10 carries the biggest multiplier.
Yeah,
is the biggest thing. Even though you're going to pay more, it seems like the hobby is kind of, given the PSA 10 as the golden standard. And there's so much money invested through all of the different people in the hobby that
have PSA
that most of your slabs, if you look at anybody's Zion case, most of the slabs are going to be PSA. So because of the investment that everybody's made into PSA, it just makes, the 10 carries the most weight.
Yeah, a PSA 10 is just going to be you get, that is one thing you have to kind of weigh in though, and we take that into account when we're recommending cards where to go. If it's on the edge,
if it's not,
I'll tell a customer, it's a $5,000 card. PSA is going to charge you $600 to it might get an 8, maybe a 9. I don't think a 10 is really possible. Very slight chance. Go Beckett for $40 or $140, and there's no worry about an upcharge. We consider that. So if it looks really good and it has a chance at a PSA 10, as long as you can afford it, I think the upcharge, going for it that's going to get you the most value bang for your buck for the resale.
And that's just
guaranteed to get a 10, but you can always crack the 9 and try to Beckett after the fact or SGC after the fact too, as long as you can afford it, obviously.
I think there's an argument to be made, and we tested this theory, is like, depending on how long PSA is taking, you have the ability to grade a card at a fixed rate. You're not going to be upcharged. Get the card back, sell it, roll that money into something else, and maybe repeat that process a couple of times before you ever get that card back from PSA. Now, I'm not saying that's always what you should do, but if it's just from flipping and making money and it's not a super high-end card or something that's incredibly rare or scarce, that might be why somebody would do.
A lot of people did that with Bowman. SGC, they got that deal with Topps, and they worked well together on that, and there's a lot of people flipping Bowman quick, that way. And SGC, it used to be Beckett was king for Bowman there for a long time. Yeah. And then it obviously switched over to PSA, but SGC gained a lot of market share.
I think SGC does a great job. They really do.
And I don't think an SGC 10 for Bowman's really that much different than a Beckett 1/2, 9.5 in a lot of cases.
If you get a 10-10 at SGC, I would probably say that SGC 10-10s might be beat out a Beckett 9.5 on a lot of cards.
So a lot of people then take their chance, and if they're buying it, and they'll take their chance and try to cross it over to PSA. But
and we're talking like higher end PSA, but I think specifically we're talking about like modern sports cards PSA, right? Because if you go vintage, you want SGC, which is a higher value. Would you say?
I think they're
pretty close. PSA, I think in the same grade, in a lot of PSA, it's going to probably go for a little bit more. But the interesting thing on vintage, though, is you could have 2 cards the same grade. Whichever one has the better eye appeal, you're going to get more money for it.
Okay, yeah.
Right. So with vintage, it's a whole different ballgame. The grade matters, but people buy the card, I think, more than they actually buy the grade in a lot of cases.
You could have an SGC 3.5 and a Beckett or a PSA 3.5 on the same Jackie Robinson card. Whatever one's more centered is going to sell for more.
Well, people have different things. Some people want it more centered. Some people want it to have better color.
Yeah.
Some people are going to be more interested in it. Does it have creases? What do the corners look like? So vintage it's a whole different ball game.
I could tell you that TCG, and Jeremy, you can too, you go BGS as your first option. If it could get a 10 or a black label, because Bandai has better quality control than Topps and these products that are coming out for sports cards. Bandai really takes care of their cards, you could tell. So if you could get a BGS black label or 10, it holds so much more value, maybe 3 times more than a PSA 10. You kind of
with TCG, I mean, it's obtainable at Beckett, right? I mean, I think Jeremy's last order had 3 pristine 10s.
Mm-hmm.
He was mad he didn't get a black label, but I mean, it's like, if you were going to send, modern sports cards or whatever to Beckett with the idea that you're going to get a pristine 10, forget it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, does it happen? Yeah. I mean, we've had, a decent amount of them, but, to look at a card and say, oh yeah, that's a Beckett, 10 on a sports card, it's a lot tougher. With TCG, it's definitely obtainable.
What black labels?
Yeah, well, even a pristine 10. You're not going to just look at a sports card and say, yeah, that's a Beckett 10. That just doesn't happen.
I wanted to ask you guys. I try to. I wanted to ask you guys, and you guys touched on it before I got there, but SGC's done something pretty cool, I think, with the release of baseball products where they run like a special, and I think they grade cards at maybe $10, $11.
Yeah,
which is incredibly.
$11 is what we normally charge.
Incredibly, I mean, do you see a massive spike with SGC around baseball releases when they run those specials?
A little bit. Not as much as you'd kind of think, but a lot of times we'll recommend. We're getting a ton of Bowman anyways because it's the new product and it's the popular product, and most customers, would prefer PSA. If it's got a chance for a PSA 10, they want it to go PSA, but they're more apt for us to say, hey, this got a little issue. Maybe SGC is a better fit for this card, especially when they're running their promo. Hey, it's only $11 right now. They're like, yeah, absolutely, let's try it. Go for it.
I like that. I also like this is where we went right into like different types of grading, and this actually will help. Maybe if you didn't know, but Tyler, I don't know. Are you sending in other stuff than sports cards? Because Beckett is coming out with different options to grade. They're grading mangas now. And I wanted to tell the people out there, like, if you're able to grade those.
No, we can do that. I haven't really, to be honest, I haven't looked at any of the pricing for that. We don't do a ton with the comics and magazines and that kind of stuff, but it's definitely something that we can do.
Okay. So yeah,
I'm gonna piss everybody off here. I know one thing that they're not gonna grade, and that's Funko Pops, because when me and Tommy were in California, they tried pitching us on doing Funko Pops, and we left.
Everyone got up and left.
Tyler, again with the
California, talking about Funko Pop grade, and everyone's like, yeah, bye.
We're sending them to AC for the PSA this year when it's in New Jersey. They're gonna have to go to that because they want to brag about the California. But yeah, I saw this, and this is actually coming to you. Jeremy actually has a couple too, so I'm going to send these in.
Got that quick boat from China on those things.
It did. So what this is, that the people don't know, is the first issue or the first issue of Pokemon, pretty much. So I got a couple of them.
Wow, how much are those worth?
They're actually they're really cheap right now, but no one's got them graded because the Beckett manga is just recent, and I think it's $50 for a 10-day turnaround, by the way, for Beckett's charging. So 30.
Yeah, Chris, if you have magazines, we can definitely grade them. We're just kind of dealing with them on a case-by-case scenario.
Yeah,
but,
I know. I just sent out a bunch
we can definitely help out with them.
And okay. Yeah, we sent some to CGC for myself and a customer.
Yeah.
So there you go. TNT does it all, just not sports cards.
Not just sports cards. Do a little bit of everything.
Yep.
Leave it to Manny to do the whole manga thing backwards. Even
it's
when
manga. Say it right.
No. So even doing this, in the process of purchasing the damn comic book, he somehow, instead of buying it for the price that he is, told the guy why it was important to him, why he was doing it, and the guy was able to increase the price $30, $40.
Nope.
Now he's on sharing what he's doing.
No.
And it's just this is the playbook of how not to do something, my friend.
I'm trying to help the people.
No,
No, he's exaggerating, by the way. The guy gave me a refund because he was like, I know you bought it previous. So he gave me a refund of what they do in like a lot of the Japan sellers, if they have multiple, if it sells, then they like raise the price on eBay and they keep raising it. Well, I bought it and I raised my own price, but he gave me a refund. So Jeremy's just trying to hate and exaggerate.
Did Jeremy have to pay more money because of you?
No, Jeremy just bought the last one that was like bad condition one, but he didn't have to pay the upcharge.
Smart man.
Here's the thing. I didn't go out bragging and boasting about everything that I'm buying. I'm just kind of quietly working behind the scenes.
Can I not be happy of what I'm buying?
I want you to be happy, my friend.
This is bullcrap. I can't be happy. I can't do any takes because I get called Skip Bayless. I can't do anything.
You can do whatever you want, man. It's a free country.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So guys, when we did the initial episode, we talked about the website. I quickly want to touch on for the people who are curious and might have not tried you guys yet, and just briefly go through of what that process looks like. I'll let you guys talk through it, and then myself and Manny will add some additional color because there's some stuff that you guys have done really, really well that makes you stick out. And we'll say from experience, we've used just about every big group subber out there. And not saying anything bad about them, but naturally about 2-3 years ago, we just ultimately gravitated towards you guys. And I'll touch on some of the things that I personally like. Manny can touch on the things that he likes. And that way people get an idea and understanding of how you guys operate, because you guys are the face of the company and you're who people interact with on a daily basis. So if you want to just talk about from like cradle to grave what that process looks like, I think it'll be good.
Yeah, so from the website standpoint, it's still a little bit of a work in progress. The holidays kind of slowed things down a little bit there. We're hoping here by the end of the month where at least the order tracking, will be done. In the beginning, it's probably something that we're going to be manually uploading, but just because there's a few tweaks that have to be made, you can submit an order on the website right now. It's not that difficult. You're basically, if you're doing review, we have a TNT cards tab that you click, and then if you already know what you want, you have PSA, Beckett, and SGC, where you can select. There's just a few little things that have to be changed with that, but it is functional. You can create an account. It's just the order tracking and that kind of stuff's not really going to show up, but you can do it that way, or you can do the old-fashioned way to where we have a form that you fill out. With the form, we try to make it easy for you. Basically, all we need is your customer info. So your name, address, email, phone number, Instagram if you have it, Facebook, your Facebook name.
Actual Facebook name, not your alias on Facebook.
Yeah, just so that way we know who to contact when we get the cards. Because basically what happens, you fill out your form, put a copy of that form in your package, ship it to the address on the form. Once we get your cards, we use Facebook Messenger or Instagram to send you a message as a confirmation.
Or text if you
don't
have those two. But
and then if they're already ready to go and you know what you want, we confirm, what service level, what grading company you want to go to, send you an invoice, you pay the invoice, they go out on the next shipment.
And you get a picture of all your cards.
Yep. And then if it's going to be something that's reviewed, for just your normal levels, we're about 2 weeks out. If you have an express or a walkthrough at PSA, something on a faster level, we get those out on the next shipment typically. And it's the same process. After we do the review, we show you, we give you our recommendations. If it's, if you paid the $4 review, you get pictures for the reasons why we don't recommend sending a card in. And then basically once you approve it, you can make any changes to our recommendations you want to, but once you approve it, you get an invoice and then it goes right out. And then right now, for the meantime, until the website tracking is taken care of, we have a Google Doc tracker that we update every Sunday. Probably going to change that to every Monday, but just so I don't have to do it on Sundays. But once we get that, then we'll update that once a week. And then if there's grades that have been released, we share those grades. And we just started. So with PSA, we hyperlink all the serial numbers so you have the images. So that way, if you want to put them on Facebook, you got a good high resolution scan.
Or eBay or wherever.
Yeah, whatever. And then, or if you just want to share it on your socials too. So we got that. SGC provides a scan, so that's how we release the grades. And then we just started this past week to we're taking high res scans for all Beckett orders that are coming back. So with those, we're waiting to release the grades until we get those cards back from Beckett and we get those scans, just so that way we're not having to do as little double touching as possible. But
No, one thing a customer brought up to me the other day, and I guess I never really thought about it or realized it, but one big advantage by using a company like us as opposed to doing it on your own, even if you already know what you're doing, know how to evaluate a card, know where you want to send it, all of that stuff. Sending it to, if you have a couple cards that are going to go in the sports special, the PSA, you got a walkthrough, you got a regular, you got some cards you want to grade the autographs for, you got some cards that are better for Beckett, and then some that are better for SGC. Instead of having to do all the paperwork for 7 different submissions to different companies, then each one of those you have to pay return shipping from the grading company. You can send them all to PSA in one box, but if there's 4 separate service levels, or 5 or 6 or however many there are, they're going to ship every single one of those back separately at the cheapest rate of like $19. So you might pay $120 in shipping to get those 6 orders back. That's just from PSA, and then not let alone back at SGC. You send them to us, we send them all out, send them back here, for $5 each, and you can wait and get them all at one time if you want. Pay 1 return shipping, or you can get them back individually.
Yeah, we allow you to combine the shipping or ship back as they come.
Our insurance. We have insurance on the packages, so you could end up saving a lot of money just on the shipping charges alone. Mm-hmm. Well, instead of that's with us not doing a review, nothing. Just instead of doing it on your own, just using us for the simple fact of saving on shipping, you can save a ton of money.
I like it.
So I think you guys under Tyler, I think you sold yourself a little bit short. The level of communication is legitimately second to none. And that was the thing. Results be damned. Why we ended up going with you, because one thing I hated is I'm shipping out my cards and then I don't hear anything. Mm-hmm. With you guys, we get, hey, we received your package. Hey, here's a picture of the cards that we received. Hey, this is where we're at from a review time, whether it's 1 day, 2 weeks, whatever. Hey, we're reviewing your cards. Hey, here's pictures of your cards. Hey, this is, we think because of this, we suggest that, because of this. Or, what are you trying to do? If these are PC and money's tight, maybe this is the avenue to go, where you guys make yourselves available to help some folks out. And the grading thing can be intimidating at first. And I know once you grade a bunch, you kind of laugh at it. But the first time you do it, you don't know what the hell, you don't know the nuance between the things. And it's scary. And you guys make yourselves, I would say, almost to a fault. Because now you've created a level, a bar that's up here, that most people know. If you message Tyler at 11:42 p.m., he's probably going to respond within 5 minutes, you know what I mean, and give you an update of what's going on. And so from that perspective, always knowing what's going on with your cards, then they get them back. Hey, your cards are in transit. Here's hyperlinks so you can see pictures of your cards, serial numbers so you can do whatever. Hey, we have your cards. Hey, here's a picture of all your cards. These are going to be shipped on this day. And then the cards are packaged. Again, probably twice as much packaging as you need, but they arrive safe and secure. And, you guys are always available. It's not like you call and get pushed off on somebody who doesn't know what the hell they're talking about. The TNT team is tight. You guys are all within earshot of one another. And so when you need something, you get a response immediately. And so for that, for me personally, for Courtney and I, that was important to us. And that just made it incredibly easy, where we might get good results somewhere else, but you're in the dark for 6 months. And you don't hear anything.
Yeah. Well, I mean, one of the things I'm the most excited about is that website. Right now, if you're submitting to SGC on your own, Beckett on your own, PSA on your own, you got to log into 3 different accounts to see where your cards are at. And once that website's done, and hopefully within the next 4 to 6 weeks, seems like, I know I've said it before, but it seems like everything takes longer than what you want it to, because they don't understand our language, and to be honest, we don't understand theirs. But once that website's done, you're going to have one spot you can go log in. The pricing is going to be the same as if you submitted on your own. To Tommy's point, you're going to save money by default on the shipping piece just by doing that, right? If you're not even doing reviews. So the goal is to make it to where it's easy to use place, from the website and tracking standpoint, to where you see everything underneath one spot.
Or if you got grading and you can see all your results all in one spot, all your Beckett, all your SGC, all your PSA pictures, everything right in one website.
His BGS setting up our website. It sure
That's good.
Yeah,
that is
good. Yeah, thanks, Brian.
That is too good.
I never realized how much effort and work, and bravo to Tyler, because he's worked his ass off to get this thing to
we're still not there yet.
I know, but
I drive them crazy and they drive me crazy, and
It's a lot harder than I never realized how hard and long and of a process to build a website is.
Yeah, it's crazy. And like how.
And it never stops because you're always going to have changes. You're always going to have updates. It's just going to be a money pit forever, but it's
a necessary money
you
pit.
have to have it. That's what's going to provide
It'll be worth the wait.
Best experience for the
taking
customer
so long
and us.
Because when Tyler sees something he doesn't like, he hurts the guy's feelings, and then it takes him 2 weeks to realize that he needs to buck up and get back to work and finish, because Tyler's right. It's not good enough. He wants it to be better than what it is.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, you guys got into this because you guys were working, real jobs.
Yeah.
Supporting yourselves. But you guys are card people. This isn't money for you. This is truly a passion project. Mm-hmm. Like, there's cards everywhere. I've been to Tyler's house. I've been to Tommy's house. You go to use the facilities and you go to grab toilet paper and there's slabs. I mean, they're stuffed everywhere. There's cards all over the place. So you guys understand what it's like to be us. And I've been in your office before when your grades pop. And you're dancing around and excited, like, oh, wow, we got that.
Yeah, every time an order pops, I check. Tommy and I, we don't send out as much as we used to just because we're too busy playing with other people's cards. But, when we do, when I know we have cards out, that's something I 100%. I pull up the order, see everybody on that list, and if we have cards, I look for them.
Yeah. Well, the cool thing is Tyler and Tommy get just as excited for other people's cards when they know a big card's coming in.
Oh, big time, 100%.
I get text messages.
Bummed too when they don't do as well as you would think.
Yeah, it's
That's not a good feeling when you let somebody down and they don't get the grade that we thought it might. We're not perfect. We're human too, but we get excited and bummed just like you guys do.
For sure. I got sold on you guys when Tyler called me on. It was vintage Dragon Ball Z cards, so like in the 90s. Tyler was expecting like the normal 10s and black labels, and he was like, Manny, I'm sorry. There are only 9 BGS 9s and 8 5s and 8s. I don't know what happened, but I'm going to send them in free of cost. I'm like, Tyler, I appreciate it, but they're the 90s cards. Like, they're supposed to be a little jacked up. He's like,
I forgot what they look like. I just know
like
that
what you were expecting.
I know that normally, the TCG stuff grades well. So when I saw those grades, I'm like, oh my gosh, Manny's going to be pissed.
No,
he's definitely going to make sure everything goes through Tommy now.
So before we get up out of here, we ran the poll last week and we put some light. We didn't really go too hard into it. We just said, hey guys, for the card of the week, just pick your favorite card.
Yes.
And I think out of all of us, I think you two had the easiest. Like, I think it was without hesitation. Tommy went with the Pavel Bure Gold Star Quest, which I think if more people were hockey fans and were maybe a little bit older and understood how awesome Pavel Bure was, they would have a whole new level of appreciation of what that card is. And on a side note, Tommy low-key has one of the most badass Pavel Bure collections in the world. And so
probably the best.
I can't imagine anyone's got a better one, but
well, he's got an awesome top tier Pavel Bure. And then Tyler, I didn't know what to expect because I've been to Tyler's house. And there's a lot of Cowboys swag. There's a lot of stuff. So I wasn't sure what he was going to go with. Manny and I had gone back and forth because what is favorite card? His favorite card doesn't necessarily mean the most expensive. It doesn't mean the most popular. It doesn't mean like what is your favorite card? So Manny went with the custom made Dan Campbell card.
Yeah, shout out Lucid. I think he was trying to troll me because he knows that's my messy. So yeah, I think that's
so. And then I went with the P Will. And so we've got the results. And thank you for Courtney for running this as always. Without her, this whole thing falls apart. So finishing in fourth place was Pavel Bure StarQuest Gold.
Dang, Tommy.
Man, people just don't appreciate
Tommy,
how hard those cards are.
Why did you pick that one?
Yeah.
That card is defined. No. There's like the funny thing is there actually is one on eBay right now. It's like $5,000. It's priced ridiculous. But those Gold Star Quest, when I was a kid, going to the card shop or going to Kmart, for the matter of fact, the retail product collector's choice was always $10 for like 8 packs. You got a Star Quest card, and like every other pack, it was always the blue base, and then there was the greens, and then there's the reds. They were the 2-star, 3-star, and they always sit on the box. Gold Star Quest. Look for the Gold Star Quest numbered to 100. Any kid that grew up in the 90s collecting cards knows what those are and how they're just so hard to find. You can look on eBay between baseball, basketball, hockey. There's only a handful of them listed ever. They're so hard to find. Once they get into people's collections, they stay there.
And the guy was awesome at hockey.
Oh yeah, and he's my favorite player to begin with too. But
so when Tyler showed me the Greg Jennings, I've got a childhood friend who is a diehard Packers fan, and all he collects are Packers autos. Any player that ever wore a Packers uniform, he just collects their autos. So I sent him a picture of it, and this guy never asked for anything. And he goes, grab it for me. With this understanding of grab it, we'll worry about everything in the back end. I was like, no, Playboy, calm down. This isn't available. I was just sharing a cool card with you. I don't think I'm not going to ask about it. He was like, oh, damn. He's also not somebody that's willing to break the bank. So I think he was going to sell, body parts on the black market to get this thing. I think the Greg Jennings rookie superfractor is just an incredible card.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm assuming you got it because he's a Western, not the Packers, right, Tyler?
Definitely not because he's Packers. Honestly, this is probably Greg Jennings is one of the guys that he probably got me back into the hobby a little bit, right? Tommy started collecting, Tommy, I always saw him kind of going for his Pavel Bure's and whatnot. And we both went to Western. I know that we had kind of talked about going after Corey Davis a little bit, but with Greg Jennings, when we worked at ABC in Kalamazoo, his family used to come in and buy from us. So I was like, you know what? I just started looking and seeing what his stuff went for. And it was cheap.
It's funny.
I mean, all of his stuff was
never met him, but
cheap.
his younger brother looks just like him, and you swear to God it's him.
Yeah.
Until you realize that it's you talk to him, it's not. It's his brother. But
yeah,
funny.
So I don't know. I just started going after it. So I mean, I probably from his rookies, I got probably one of the nicer Jennings. But it was just. That's what got me back into it. So I figured, favorite card, why not?
I told you should have bought them both. The Topps Chrome Superfractor Auto was available
at the same time.
As
in the same lot, I think. I could have bought them both.
Same seller was selling them both, and they were. I mean,
his stuff was cheap.
It was like $400 for each or something. It wasn't very expensive, but it was too cheap to buy it. And now, damn, that would have been so sweet to have them both. That card is still sick.
But yeah, no, I mean, I pretty much have the whole Bowman Chrome Auto rainbow. So it was just, one of those things that I kind of, I probably wouldn't be doing this today if it wasn't for doing that, because that's what got me hooked.
Awesome. He was so
that's
good.
What got me hooked back then. So
yeah, maybe about 10 years ago, as a diehard Bears fan, I would have been trying to burn this card because all I ever did was watch Greg Jennings run into an end zone with a Bears DB, 10 yards behind him, looking lost.
Started with Brett Favre and ended with Rodgers. He was still awesome with both of them.
As my age group, it was that Madden video, put the team on my back. You guys ever seen that video?
No.
Oh, you got to see it. Greg Jennings put the team on my. He's like, the guy gets hurt in Madden and he's like limping, and it's a hilarious viral video. I have to show you after this. But so I think didn't Greg Jennings win, Jeremy? I swear, that's all I was seeing.
That's all I saw was Jennings.
Yeah,
Jennings.
I got a little bit of an advantage though with that because you got Anthony from Southwest Michigan Collectibles, and it looked like a lot of the people that were voting were Kalamazoo people.
For sure.
So I definitely had a little bit of an advantage with that, but I would say it's hard to go, away from a superfractor auto. That's probably his best rookie card, or second best rookie card.
Oh yeah.
Well,
it could.
Actually, my bad, Manny. I didn't give the results because I was going to go card by card, but it went Pavel Bure, it went Messi, it went Patrick Williams, and then Greg Jennings won by a landslide.
So Manny, why did you go with the Messi?
Messi's like the reason why I love soccer. And I got this card art done by Ken Carl, and I love his work. And my plan for this card actually is I know a guy that potentially knows a guy that could get this signed by Messi. So it would be like my PC. I'll never get rid of it. It was
hand drawn.
You said what?
Is that hand drawn on the card?
Yes, hand drawn on the card. Ken Carl does how it works is you put a deposit down of $50 and then it's $300 for the card. But it's he's 5 to 6 months out. So you only put $50 down, get it. Then you tell him the player and he'll knock it out. He's never done a Messi card. So this was his first Messi card. So it's technically.
It looked like he signed it, right? Just to So that is sweet.
It looks like a real awesome, like a sweet card that was produced by one of the leading card companies,
Yes. we've been pulling for him to try to get his work into like one of the
like do
products.
Obviously, he's got the talent. Look how good that looks.
Yeah,
we need him to do a Manny card, and have him make you look kind of like a younger version of Skip Bayless.
I like it. No, I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't. So it was between this or a Nomar card. So, but if I go by favorite, this one is the most unique that I have that a lot of people you don't see. So,
no, I love it,
gentlemen. This has been an incredible evening. We appreciate it. I'm looking forward to doing this on a bi-weekly basis and getting updates of all things that are grading. I know we got a lot of messages. I got a lot of text, a lot of sext of people with questions, comments, and I'm sure we'll adjust as we go on. But where can everybody find you?
Best is either in our Facebook group or Instagram, or you can always email us at info@TNT Cards as well.
TNTcards.com.
Yes.
Or DM me and I'll send you Tyler and Tommy's personal cell phone number. If you want to get to a hold of them at 3 a.m, just get a hold of me.
Yeah, we're pretty much always available. So.
Facebook message us anytime. We'll be there.
And if you're going to message us on Facebook, you could either just message us direct. We also have the TNT Cards Facebook account.
TNT Sports Cards Group Submissions is the group too.
Yep. So yeah, and any of the admins in the group, you can message if you have a question. So.
Oh yeah. So if you're going to be in Kalamazoo this weekend, Tyler will be there accepting cards. Go drop off your cards. Give him a try.
His boy will be there. His boy's going to be there, ready to sell. He's opening up some Prizm. Did he do that already tonight?
Prizm blasters.
So
let's go. Hopefully, you pull some fire.
Yeah, buddy. Ready to go.
All right.
All right. Take it easy.
Jeremy, before we go, what do you want the people to do?
Just smash that subscribe button.
Just smash that. And I hope you guys enjoyed your hobby release. We will be back soon. Peace.
Peace.